making the decision on my own to shut down both Jaclyn Roxanne jewelry and my Koze comfort line. All of my peers, they all have brands. Everybody, you know, it's like Manny, Laura, Desi, Katie, all these people who are in the same space as me at the same time are all creating brands. And I'm like, oh, I gotta do it too, I gotta do it too. As at the end of the day, guys, I don't really wanna be a brand owner. I was my happiest doing makeup, working on Jaclyn Cosmetics, doing collabs, and just having a relationship with my followers.
I was here at home working on editing a video that I was going to be putting out today. But while I was in the middle of that, Jaclyn dropped this video. And so I had to stop everything I was doing. I watched it and I just knew I was going to be making some kind of an analysis or a response to the video. This is a story that I have been following for a while, and I had never made any videos about it before, because I feel that the internet just likes to pick on her because she's an easy target, I think. And even when I've seen her do things that were worthy of criticism, I just didn't want to join the bandwagon. I just didn't want to pile on and be a part of that conversation of let's get Jaclyn. But after seeing this video and the announcement that she's closing her brands, and this is very interesting, I'm gonna come back to that. I knew I had to make a video because I know that there's gonna be a bunch of videos that are gonna be made about this and a lot of response. But I just wanna make sure that what I have to say gets said out there while everybody else is nitpicking and breaking down little things. But before I do, I just wanna remind you, if you are watching this video and you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe to my channel. We just surpassed 1,000 subscribers. I'm looking forward to passing 2,000. Please help me with that. Let's get back into it. So if you clicked on this video, you already know who Jaclyn Hill is and you are familiar with all the controversy surrounding her. If you don't know who she is, I'm just going to do a brief background. She is a makeup YouTuber. She's extremely talented, I think, in makeup application. She started out as a makeup artist for MAC, and she has become extremely successful. She has made a lot of money in this space, not just from her YouTube channels, but she's actually made some real life collaborations with makeup companies, mainly Morphe. That has been her, partner in crime, if you could say. And she's done several collaborations with them. And then she launched her own makeup line. There was a little controversy with that, or a big controversy. After that, she also launched a jewelry company called Jaclyn Roxanne. And then she launched a lifestyle kind of homeware company called Koze. And both of these other brands also came with controversy. Well, today she announced that she is going to be shutting down Jaclyn Roxanne and Koze. And it's interesting because she named her video, I'm shutting down my brands. She didn't say she's shutting down Jaclyn Cosmetics. And that is, to me, the big question mark that I'm going to be touching in the end. But I wanted to really touch on something that she said in the video regarding the controversy for the Koze brand. Here's the controversy that had arisen when she launched this brand. She launched the brand. It looked fabulous. As a matter of fact, when I saw it, I thought this is perfect for Jaclyn, because I love when she does these videos where she says, my favorites for fall, and then she starts showing all the things that she has when it comes to robes and blankets and socks and candles and all that lovely stuff for the home, especially for those cold fall and winter months. I just love, those are some of my favorite videos that she makes. And so when she launched this brand, I just thought, this is perfect. This is right up her alley. I just love this. I can't wait to try all these things. But then shortly after, we found out that there was another creator, another YouTuber, who also had a brand with that same name. Now, the pronunciation was different. The pronunciation with the other creator was Koze, but it's spelled the exact same way. And that caused an uproar on YouTube, on the internet, because the other woman is a smaller brand, and she had obviously been putting in her life's work into building her little brand. She apparently did not trademark the name, And that was the loophole through which Jaclyn was able to get the name for herself. She trademarked it, registered it as her own, and the other creator was kind of pushed out of this space, so much so to the point where she had to end up giving up the brand name. And she decided that she's going to just start over and create a new brand for herself, because as she explained it, having someone else, a bigger brand, take that name would pretty much obliterate her on the internet and social media. When people are doing the search looking for her, they're going to be redirected to the bigger brand. And unlike other situations, she, instead of jumping in and trying to explain or make excuses for herself, she simply ignored people's questions when people started saying, hey, are you aware that there's another creator who owns this name, who also has this brand? Did you talk to her? Did you get her permission to use her brand name? Jaclyn just ignored the comments under the brand Instagram page. I heard that they were deleting comments. They were just ignoring the whole situation. And as you can imagine, that made the internet even more angry. And it created kind of a really negative connotation to the brand. But today she finally addressed the question of the name Koze. And this is what she said briefly.
I do want to take a moment to address the naming of my brand Koze, because there's been a lot of talk about it. And although I have not addressed it publicly, does not mean that I am not handling it privately. So as a lot of you guys may know, there's a Canadian creator, and she had an online digital platform called All Things Koze. And Koze was spelled the same way as my brand, Koze. I hired a trademark attorney to make sure that whatever name my team and I came up with for my brand was going to be able to be used legally. Everything was trademarked until we came up with the name Koze, spelled Koze. My attorney told me, trademark is open. It's all yours. Great. Where I personally messed up as an owner, as a founder, as a CEO, was not doing my own due diligence on the social media side of things. I was not made aware that there was a smaller Canadian creator with an online platform that had that exact same spelling within the brand name, until we had placed an order for everything. And that's when I was made aware of the spelling being the same. The second that I was made aware of the situation, my team and I reached out to her directly to try to make this right, and we never heard back from her. And I completely understand why, because I would be pissed off if I was her as well. All right, the situation sucks. I'm just giving you my perspective of what happened behind the scenes of the camera.
Well, the problem with that is that around 9 months ago, when Kaylin put out her video talking about how she was now walking away from her brand because it was swallowed up by Jaclyn, she had this to say.
And a couple weeks back, I want to say it was like second week of October, I started getting a couple DMs and a couple tags in a post that said Koze, K-O-Z-E. And from what I was reading from the comments and from what people were telling me, that this was going to be the brand launch of a really big creator. And I was like, oh, I really hope not. So I basically just was like, okay, what can I do here? So I just posted a comment on that Instagram post, which only had a couple hundred likes, just saying like, hey, I don't know if this is a brand launch of somebody, but if it is, and like maybe you didn't know I exist, but now you might. Do you mind maybe just going by any other name? I just wanted to kind of like give a little heads up and just be like, please don't do that, because what that does, one, the biggest thing is that it would squash my SEO, which is search engine optimization. If you go and you Google Koze, K-O-Z-E, I'm the first thing that pops up. If this creator was the creator that was going to launch this brand, I knew it was going to do really well. I knew they were definitely going to have a lot more resources, and as well as a lot more following, so that now when you look up Koze, not only would I not show up in that search engine optimization towards the top, but the other thing that was a bigger worry for me is that the brand recognition itself, when you saw the word Koze, would no longer be Kaylin. It would not like Koze Kaylin, it would become Koze this creator, or Koze this brand, and you would forget kind of about this brand. Not to mention, if someone's walking around with a sweater like this, or I'm walking around with a sweater like this, someone might think I'm repping that brand, you know?
So who's telling the truth and who's lying? The way, as much as I like Jaclyn, I have to just say this, the way Jaclyn just kind of glossed over that section in her video and didn't want to dwell or explain herself a little more, the way she just kind of brushed it over, it makes me think that maybe Kaylin is the one telling the truth, that they didn't consult with her, that they didn't try to reach her, that as a matter of fact, the first she ever heard about this brand was when the announcement was made. Jaclyn says that the first time she ever heard about this other creator and the brand that she had created first was after they had ordered the first few products that they were getting ready to launch before the actual launch. But according to Kaylin, It was in the moment when the brand was announced. And Kaylyn's fans started DMing her and telling her, hey, did you hear about this? Is this in collaboration with you? Are you a part of this? That's when she heard. At launch time. So as much as I love Jaclyn, I think she was lying in this instance. I really do. But here's the big kahuna. Here's the big thing that she did not say. She said she was shutting down her brands. She did not say, I'm closing 2 of my brands. I'm shutting down some of my brands or most of my brands. She said, what did she say? I am closing my brands. But she didn't say she's shutting down Jaclyn Cosmetics. Is Jaclyn Cosmetics not her brand? This is a discussion that has been going on for the longest time. Some people are saying she's the owner, but she's not the CEO. Some months ago, Morphe, the big brand Morphe that Jaclyn has been collaborating with forever, they declared bankruptcy. Okay, this is me editing and I realized I made a mistake. Morphe is not the one that's declaring bankruptcy. Forma Brands, who owns Morphe, is the parent company. That's the company that is declaring bankruptcy. And in the proceedings, they mention that they own Morphe and Jaclyn Cosmetics. That's where I got the information. Okay, just wanted to clear that up. And in the bankruptcy proceedings, all the information came out, all the financials became available to the public. And what was shocking to most of us is that among their properties, Jaclyn Cosmetics was named as one of Forma Properties. And Jaclyn wasn't even mentioned as the CEO of that company, which was shocking to me because when she announced the brand launch, she made it seem as if not only was she the sole owner, or at least the majority owner of the brand, but she was also the CEO / president / chief cook, bottle washer, everything. So to a lot of people, this came as a surprise. And Jaclyn has never really addressed that. And I feel that that was the biggest thing that came out of this video that she put out today. By not saying, I am shutting down 2 of my brands, or I am shutting down most of my brands, she's basically letting us know that Jaclyn Cosmetics was never hers. And just like I suspected from reading those documents, Jaclyn really has a licensing deal with Morphe to let them use her name and likeness for Jaclyn Cosmetics. But it was never her brand. She was never the CEO. She was never in charge. I mean, let's go back to what she said at the beginning of the video. This is what she said as the reason why she's closing down Koze and Jaclyn Roxanne.
As at the end of the day, guys, I don't really want to be a brand owner. I don't really want to be a brand owner.
She just told us right there. She said, I don't want to own these companies. I don't want to own companies anymore. Letting you know by shutting down those 2 brands, she no longer owns anything. And she said, I just want to go back to doing makeup and creating content.
I was my happiest doing makeup, working on Jaclyn Cosmetics, doing collabs, and just having a relationship with my followers.
I think it was also telling that she said that the thing that made her want to put out these brands is because a lot of her contemporaries, people who started out in makeup during YouTube's beauty guru heyday, all of her contemporaries were launching their own brands, and she felt the pressure to be one of those who also did that. So I think that because all these other people own their brands, she felt the need to pretend that she also owned Jaclyn Cosmetics, when the fact is it was always owned by Forma, and all she did was just license her name and her likeness for them to promote it as if it was her brand. Bottom line is, it's just better to tell the truth, even when it's ugly, even when it's embarrassing, because it's always embarrassing when she's doing these launches. And I think that she's trying to minimize the embarrassment by not saying everything. But it's just better if you just come out and say it. Because if at least you have honesty, that's the one thing you have on your side. And, you know, people are going to pick this apart and they're going to say, oh, she's lying, blah, blah. And it broke my heart to see her crying like that, because I believe she's genuinely, truly disappointed and sad because of how things ended. She wasn't able to hold on to the brands. And I think, like I said at the beginning, I think people are very hard on her. The whole lipstick gate thing, for those who don't know, when she announced the launching of Jaclyn Cosmetics, there was this controversy. She launched a collection of nude lipsticks, which I to this day think were beautiful. I saw all those tutorials of women of all shades, all skin tones, trying the lipsticks. And the colors look so beautiful. I just wish they had just said, you know what? We used a cheap lab. There were some little fuzzies in the lipstick that shouldn't have been there. The formulas kind of congealed and the oils kind of, you know, got clumped up in the formula and got, it really was, it wasn't this horrific thing. People were telling stories that the lipsticks were contaminated with poisonous substance and pieces of glass and that there was rat droppings in the lipstick. It was a disaster the way this story was allowed to go wild, because Jaclyn just kept making excuse after excuse, and she should have just said, you know what? It was my first launch. We really didn't know what we were doing. I used a cheap brand because I wanted cost to go down, because I wanted you to have something that was affordable. So I skimped on pricing so I could bring you the best makeup at the best price. But now I realize it was a mistake. So I'm just gonna have to find a better lab, which means that the prices are gonna go up. But I just wanted you to have something that was affordable. And we messed up. When I saw the title of the video and I looked at what she was announcing, I thought, is she going to really own up? She really didn't, because again, she blamed her team. She said, I was in a depression after the disastrous launch of the lipsticks, and my team made the mistake. They were leading me on almost like I was kind of like a zombie, and they were guiding me. But if you're in charge and the people you put in place to run the company do a bad thing, it's your fault. It's not partially your fault. It is 100% your fault. That's what it means to be a CEO. That's what it means to be in charge. And in that sense, I think she made a really wise decision to step away from being a person that is in charge of businesses, because clearly she just doesn't have the stomach for it. And that's okay. If she wants to continue doing licensing agreements with other companies who have the structure and the economies of scale to do it and just use her creative input, she can do that. But she doesn't have to pretend that she's the owner and she's the person in charge, because clearly she doesn't want to do that. And if she doesn't want to do it, I think it's a smart thing for her to walk away. And I applaud her for walking away from what could have been more millions of dollars. She's already a multi-millionaire. She just had a most beautiful wedding up in San Francisco. It was just, oh my goodness, Jaclyn. I just love her. She has such good eyes for things that are aesthetically pleasing, and for beauty and decor and coziness. And I just love that. I revel in that. I'm like, I just love that. But I just wish she would own up to everything. Because then what? What can they say? If you're the one putting yourself in front of the firing squad and say, I did this and this and this and this and this, they're going to feel like some type of way about shooting you, you know, because you already told it all. There's no more exposés. So just tell it all, girl. Just tell it all. And yes, one last final edit. I think that moving forward, the right thing for Jaclyn to do, that's not necessarily the right thing, but a very wonderful gesture on her part would be for her, since she is closing down the brand Koze, for her to just give Kaylin the trademark, for her to reach out to her and say, listen, I hope it's not too late for me to do this, but we've been through all of this, and I know that you put in all your heart and soul and your money and your savings into the Koze brand. And before you change anything, here is the trademark. Give me $1, the trademark is yours. That will be such a wonderful gesture on Jaclyn's behalf, because Jaclyn doesn't need the money. She's a wealthy woman. So whatever she spent on getting the trademark and the lawyer fees, girl, come on. You probably spent that in hors d'oeuvres at your wedding. just give it to her. And it will help with your goodwill and your brand. Trust me, moving forward. I wish her well moving forward. I hope she will continue doing what she says she loves, which is doing makeup tutorials. I want to see vlogs. I want to see her home. Her husband seems like the sweetest guy. He has a cooking channel. He seems to be a really good chef, and she wants to have babies. I hope they have a bunch of beautiful babies. I want to see her be happy. But you have to tell it all, my dear. You already put yourself in this position of being transparent on the internet. Tell it all, leave it all on the floor, and keep on moving. Best of luck to you, girl. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this, please hit the like button. If you have something to add to the conversation, please leave something in the conversation. Also, share this video if you think I shared some information that you think is interesting. What else? Did I tell you to subscribe? Yeah, subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see me do more commentary videos. I talk about all kinds of things on social media, pop culture, the works. Thank you for watching, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. Bye.